what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground and it go off. Yeah, hit the ground and it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah.
That music gets catchier every day. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the morning show. It's the best morning show in finance. I am Spencer Israel, joined as always by JC Parets. Strazza still in Asia, last I checked. So, but maybe if we're lucky, maybe he'll be joining us later on in the show. Got a good one for you today. Ian McMillan is our guest. He is at the Chart Life, or actually the _chart_life on Twitter. Great follow. He'll be on at 9. Kimmy Sokoloff at 9:15 as always. And like I said, maybe if we're lucky, Steve Strazza later on in the hour. I guess today kind of starts the earnings flow. We got Delta Airlines. We got Pepsi. We're going to talk about that. We'll talk about how stocks just keep on going up. JC, you mentioned Kava yesterday. Great day for that recent IPO. So we'll get to all that and more. What's up, chat? What's up, Jason? What's up, Ken K? Everyone watching, do me a solid. Smash that thumbs up button on YouTube. I'd appreciate that. And JC's telling me I talk too much. Let's get the show on the road. Let's do it. What's up?
What's up, Mr. Israel?
Not much. I was watching myself on delay, so I was taken aback when the video ended, and I was like, "Whoa, crap! Here we are."
I didn't say you talk too much. I didn't say that.
I know,
but I'll say it now. I think you talk too much.
All right.
Yeah. I think you do a nice job on the show. You bring a lot of energy to the show. Spencer does a good job of kind of being the audience. When I'm talking too much, Spencer comes in with his fun police badge and starts telling me to move on.
I do need like a badge. I do need a badge of some kind. That would make it more fun. That would make it more fun. All right. I have quite a few stocks on my list today, but
come on, can we talk about Ian McMillan in the house today? Ian McMillan coming through.
Ian McMillan coming through. Yeah, it's gonna be, and we have some charts from him, which is good. So
shocking. I mean, his Twitter handle is literally the Chart Life.
Yes, it is. Well, yeah, it's the _chart_life, but yes, the Chart Life.
If we didn't have charts, that would be disingenuous.
It would be almost like he was lying. Okay, you have charts in your life that you're ready to talk about, right?
It's a thing, you know. It's kind of what we do here.
I'm seeing. Yeah, some names we talked about.
Some of the best feedback that we've been getting. By the way, shout out Spencer with the Mattel call, 25%. Spencer Israel taking my job here, bringing the heat, bringing the fire.
92 fish gut. It's all about Barbie, baby. Although I might sell some. I'll probably sell some today, actually.
Listen, some best feedback that we've gotten on the show is that we're price driven. You know, we get to the point. You know, what's moving? How do we make money, as opposed to just gossiping about arbitrary things like earnings or the economy and things like that. Right to the point. How are we making money, Spencer? And even Spencer bringing in the ideas with the Mattel. By the way. It was a nice call on Spencer, but we're in a raging bull market, and it's almost impossible to not be making money. If you haven't been making money this year, I would reevaluate my entire thesis. Maybe stop listening to the people that you're listening to. You know, maybe check your strategy. I mean, this is the strongest market ever. Literally, depending on how you define it. So whether it's the strongest market ever or it's in the conversation at the very least. Like I said, if you're not making more money than you ever have before in this environment, like I said, I think it's probably time to reevaluate that strategy. So nice call, Spencer.
Yeah. It does remind me a little bit, nowhere near to the extent, but a little bit of like the second half of 2020 when like everything was going up, right? And it's like you can just throw a dart. You can just throw a dart at the board and pick a stock that went up, right? It's not quite like that, but it it's similar. Anyway,
I would argue maybe more of like maybe in early 80s. Like early 80s. You weren't around yet, Spencer.
I wasn't alive. I wasn't alive with the early 80s. Sorry.
Let's get to the charts. Hit the bumper, Spencer. Hit that bumper. All right, so I have been here in beautiful Avalon, New Jersey, down on the southern tip of the Jersey Shore, and it is lovely. Jumped in the ocean yesterday. Took the kids to the beach for the first time. The twins loved it. The 3-year-old, she's a pro now. She's been coming for years, so it's very cool. I'm in a very good mood. Great eats here, by the way. You know, as nice as it is, family-friendly place. The eats here, beautiful, and even the bougiest restaurants are like kid friendly, which is really cool because you know I got three animals. So
yeah,
great.
I mean,
Okay, that's my rant.
All right, to the charts.
To the charts. How do we not start with the old BTC? I'm hearing that there's a God candle. Have you ever heard of such a thing there, Spencer? The God candle?
I have no idea what that is.
I guess it's like
is it a Japanese candlestick?
I mean, I studied Japanese candlesticks. I actually went to Tokyo once looking for Japanese candlesticks. I didn't find any. They got more Hello Kitties at the Tokyo Stock Exchange than they do candlesticks, which isn't, I mean, just ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. But a God candle, my understanding, is kind of just like a big breakout monster day. And I'm hearing rumblings of a potential God candle setting up here in Bitcoin. We'll see what happens. You know, the way I see this, is this a bull flag? Is this a healthy consolidation within an ongoing uptrend that should resolve in the direction of the underlying trend? Or is this a massive top? To me, it seems like the former. Now, we will see. And if that does occur and this quote-unquote God candle arrives, I will mortgage my house and I will be very irresponsibly, aggressively long Bitcoin in that scenario. See if it happens. I really like this chart. Shout out Fonz. Are we giving the credit to Fonz? Does Fonz get the credit for this one? It's a good one.
Sure.
Here we're looking at the Bollinger Bands, which is basically we're just measuring volatility essentially. And when the Bollinger Bands are contracting, actually show the next chart. Did we show the next one quick? There we go. So these are the Bollinger Bands, and as you can see, when the bands are contracting, from volatility contraction comes volatility expansion, right? And then go back and you could see the Bollinger Band width historically when it's this narrow and volatility is this contracted. Because remember, guys, asset prices trend. We know that. That's why technical analysis works, because we're looking for trends. Volatility, on the other hand, mean reverts. Right? We know that. So if you're regularly looking for volatility, mean reversion strategies, and you're regularly looking for asset prices trending strategies, you're putting the probabilities of success on your side. So kind of keep that in mind. So from volatility contraction, which we see here, has only contracted this much, 1, 2, 3, a handful of times, and historically this has been a great buying opportunity. Now, volatility expansion doesn't necessarily have to come with rising prices. It could come with falling prices, right? So just keep that in mind. But based on what price is doing, if we are going to get a volatility expansion, which my bet is we do, my suspicion is it's going to be to the upside, right? So check out that correlation between Bitcoin and Mara. Right, it looks very similar. It's a great chart. I'm going to give myself some kudos here on this one. You like this one, Spencer?
I do, yeah.
You like the color coded? You see how I put Bitcoin in orange? See that?
That looks yellowy. I mean, I guess it's sort of orange. It's like a very
that's as orange as orange gets, buddy.
That's like a yellowish orange.
Listen, I'm from Florida. I'm from Florida. I know orange. All right.
All right. That's not the most orange.
New 52-week highs in Bitcoin. Mara's making new 10-month highs. I mean, listen, if Bitcoin's going to go, by the way, Mara has a beta of 5. I don't know if you knew that. A beta of 5. That means Mara is 5 times as volatile as the S&P 500. Okay? It's a lot, right? Not for the faint of heart, but if you're looking for juice, that seems to be a good one. Let's talk about some of the other junky stuff. You know, in this sort of market environment, you know, we're junky stuff is working. Right? This is Rivian. Do you like the cars? I like them. These are electric vehicles, right? Is that not right?
They look nice. I've just never seen one in person before.
Are you serious? You need to get out more.
Apparently so.
I think you need to get out more. Is Rivian an American company? Do you know that?
Yeah.
It is an American company?
Yeah, all these newfangled EV companies.
Ooh, Irvine, California. Shout out Orange County. Speaking of oranges, shout out Orange County. We'll be there in a couple of months. So Rivian, $20. That was the level. If we're above that, we want to stay long. I think it heads up to the high 30s, $40. That thing looks good. Look at Palantir. Palantir, an oldie but goodie. Again, as junky as junky gets, this thing got slaughtered. Now making new 52-week highs. We're above 14. I want to stay long. I think this is a double. I think this gets back up to the 30s. And then finally, here's Kava. This is the Greek Chipotle, if you will. And listen, I gotta say, you and Strazza were really giving me a lot of shit on the IPO day.
I know we weren't, but not like that. I gotta say, credit to you. I mean, the chart looks how it looks, right? so yeah. We were giving you shit, not about Kava per se, but just because
you were giving me shit about the way that I approach.
Yeah.
IPO.
The IPO price and the opening price, there was such a large spread there.
And then this is what I meant. I didn't know it was going to play out this way, but this is precisely what I meant. Look at the high on the IPO day, and that's the resistance. And look what happened yesterday when we broke out above it. God candle. See, there we go. Speaking of God candles, it's a big day. Big. Maybe it's not big enough to be a God candle. I mean, what was it up yesterday? 5%, 6%? No, 10%. 10%, right? Something like that?
Something like
that. Is that enough to be a God candle? I don't know. Big day, though. And the big day occurred once it was finally able to break out above the high from the IPO price. That's why those initial prices are really, really important. So now forever, and by the way, I have a funny feeling that one day in the future, could be 2 weeks from now, could be 2 years from now, could be 20 years from now, that 47 level, 47, 48, which was the high on the IPO day, is going to come back into play and is going to turn into support and maybe even resistance if it breaks down. But that day, mark my words, Mr. Spencer, one day that price will come into play once again. And I will be like, hey, remember that time? The Greek Chipotle, remember? There'll be an AI company by then probably. But nice little base since the IPO. And then finally, I mean, listen, I remember last summer, all these assholes, and I'll say it, I mean, you got to be a special kind of asshole to spend your days just hating on Cathie Wood all day on Twitter. Like, think about it. Think about what a loser you need to be, that you don't have anything better to do with your life than sit there on Twitter hating on anybody. In this case, it was Cathie Wood. It's like all day on Twitter, like, oh, irresponsible risk management, I'm so much better than her. You think she gives a damn what you think, man? You got to be, seriously, what kind of a loser do you need to be to decide, I'm going to wake up today and I'm going to spend all day tweeting about this lady that I don't like how she manages her portfolio. It's like, really? Who cares? Go worry about yourself, right? Yeah. And what's hilarious is that now here we are making new 52-week highs. And all those losers who are spending all their days hating on Cathie Wood, where are they? Where are they? Probably hating on somebody else, probably not making money in the market because they're worried about what she's doing instead of worrying about themselves.
I think the hate on Cathie is twofold. One, people see her as like a representation of anything. She's the personification of growth and a high beta growth tech, high valuations, high multiples, right? All that stuff, right? So if you're bearish all that stuff, then you're gonna not like what she has to say. First thing. Second thing, she does tend to say some pretty wild shit. Okay, like as far as her like projections, right? Now, credit to her price target on Tesla like 5 years ago, her prediction was like spot on, right? But she says things about like GDP growth and like the price of Bitcoin that like seem like totally outlandish from an annual growth standpoint, right? So that's why the other reason I think some people aren't her biggest fan, but she is the personification of growth.
They're so smart, like because they claim to be such geniuses that they're so smart that they spend all day hating on a lady instead of worrying about themselves. Right. interest rates literally skyrocket at a faster rate than ever in history. And if you're so smart, you should know that when interest rates are going up, the stocks that get hit the hardest are the growth stocks that look furthest out into the future, which Cathie Wood's fund is specifically that. So if interest rates are skyrocketing higher, of course those stocks are going to get hit. It has nothing to do with her, right? Like, what are these people thinking? So I think lesson learned, these perma bear funds, all they're doing, if you're shorting these things, like these things are destroyed. Any investors in those perma bear funds are completely wiped out, well deserved in my opinion. And these fund managers that were launching these perma bear funds, shorting these things, no one's ever heard from them again. So let this be a good lesson. Stay humble. You know nothing. Worry about yourself. Who cares if somebody else's portfolio is down? What does that have to do with you? Short it, right? Like all these people last summer hating on Cathie Wood, I guarantee you they were not short on the way down. They're just yapping. Worry about yourself. Worry about your own portfolio. People are like, oh, JC, who are you to tell people what to do? I'm like, well, first of all, I don't tell anybody what to do. I really couldn't care less what other people do with their portfolio. That's not my problem. I got enough problems. I got my own portfolio. I got multiple portfolios to manage. I got 3 kids under 3. I'm trying to build a pool. What a nightmare it is to build a pool. I got enough problems that I don't need to worry about somebody else's portfolio, whether they're making money or losing money. I don't care. Why would I? So I just can't imagine why
you're building a pool. You better get used to Leslie's, man.
I better get used to who?
Leslie's, the pool supply store. I swear, I spend every weekend of my life, every summer, accompanying my dad to goddamn Leslie's.
Well, first of all, I'm never going to a pool supply store.
Like, you're about to.
No, zero chance I'm ever going to go to a pool. I have a guy who will do that and fix and clean and whatever it is. I'm not going to be. I don't know. I don't trust myself with chemicals. Like, are you kidding me? No. I'm not touching chemicals. I don't even want to look at them. No. I don't trust myself. It's like working on my own car. Are you kidding me? If I fix my own car and then I have to drive it, I don't trust myself to fix a car. Are you kidding me? Zero chance.
LESL for those interested. But anyway,
is there a publicly traded stock?
Yeah.
Leslie's?
Yeah. Pool supply.
I'm not going to any pool supply stores. No thanks. Okay. And then finally, the other ARK fund, like the ARK fund, if you will, making new 10-month highs just yesterday, breaking out to the highest levels all year. And, again, to Spencer's point earlier, a great representation of the growth trade. These are the growthiest stocks, and they're doing well, despite the 10-year yield remaining high, which is really impressive, I think. So, does the bond market have it right, or does the stock market have it right? It's sort of how I look at it. And then when you look at the speculators positioning in the bond market, the worst investors on the planet historically, especially when they're at consensus, are currently betting that the 40-year bull market in bonds is over, and they're aggressively betting on that at the highest rate ever. So think about it like this. The worst investors on the planet at consensus are betting very aggressively that interest rates are going up. So I currently don't have any bond positions at all, but it makes you think, doesn't it? It makes you think. And when you see these growth stocks doing what they're doing, what are they pricing in that we don't know about, right? So, I mean, if these inflation numbers keep coming in, and you're talking about the disinflation yesterday, why would rates keep going up? I don't know. Seems like maybe buying bonds and or adding to these growth positions might be the move. These speculator positioning is really interesting. Really interesting. Yeah. Worst investor on the planet betting this aggressively on higher rates. Not so fast, right, Lee Corso?
Right. It's hard for me to get my head around that because, I was in high school during the Great Recession, so I've never really lived in a world.
Which one was the Great Recession?
It was the great one. The one from 07, 08,
07, that
09.
was a great recession.
Yeah.
Is that what they're calling it now?
All right, what financial crisis, whatever you want to call it. I've never. So my point is, I've never lived in a world really with high interest rates, and where or with like investable bond yields, right? I just like it hasn't been a thing, right, for the last decade.
For the record, Spencer, you're not alone.
So
I haven't seen the number, but I would venture to say 75-80% plus of professionals in this industry have never worked in this industry in a rising rate environment. When Louise Yamada comes on, I think she's coming on next week. We'll ask her, like, Louise, what was it like with Ryan?
Yeah. No, seriously, this is like foreign territory for a lot of us. Okay, let's do some earnings here. It is sort of earnings season. We got a
Spencer's
couple.
So happy, it makes him so.
I am happy because like to you, like every day is game day because price is all that matters. But like I do see value in hearing from these companies, and we really only hear from them 4 times a year. And it create these earnings more than just I don't really care about the numbers themselves. I really don't. It's about the volatility they create. That's what interests me, right? They create they create movement, and that's what I like to see. So let's talk about a few of them. We got Pepsi, we got Delta Airlines this morning. Let's do that right now. All right, here you can see the calendar. Like I said, Pepsi, Fastenal, Delta, kind of the big ones this morning. Tomorrow is the banks. That should be interesting. But Delta Airlines, this was a good report for them. Not only did their numbers from last quarter come in above estimates, but they also raised their guidance. They raised it for the quarter and for the year. They had previously said that for the year, we expect earnings per share to be maybe at $6, like at the high end of the range, $6. Now they're saying actually it's going to be anywhere from $6 to $7. So they're raising that. They raised their quarterly EPS guidance as well. Strong demand was the takeaway from this report from the press release from the
strong demand because recession and all that, right?
Right, exactly. Yes.
Do you know that these guys, Sean and Strazza, for those of you who might be new to the show, first of all, welcome to the best morning show in finance. But Strazza, the reason he's not here is because he is in Asia, traveling to 8 different countries, and we're shooting a docuseries interviewing some of the best traders in each of these cities. They are on their way to Bangkok currently. They might already be there, actually. They just left Vietnam. These guys
are there.
Loved Vietnam, dude. These guys loved it. I've never been to Vietnam, so I'm a little jealous.
What does this have to do with Delta? Do they fly Delta?
What's that?
Do they fly Delta? Is that why you bring it up?
No. My point was they were flying some Vietnamese airline or something like that, or some Malaysian airline. I'm not really sure. And they were able to upgrade for $10.
Oh, I saw this.
$10.
Yeah.
So not in Delta. That's for sure. Not in Delta.
Anyway, all the airlines are going to be up this morning on this report. It was a doozy. It was a good one. So, you have thoughts on that chart?
It's still below overhead supply. If we're above those 2021 highs, like I got to see it.
Okay. Pepsi just continues to show their pricing power. Their numbers also beat on the top and the bottom line. Organic revenue up 10% year over year. I'm sorry, that's their guidance. They're guiding for 10% organic revenue growth year over year, which was above their prior guidance and above the estimate. Those are both at around 8%. So they're raising their guidance as well. So again, strong demand. Strong demand is a theme today.
If we're above that 175, there's nothing to be short here. The trend is still up. Fun fact, Spencer, you want to know a fun fact about PepsiCo?
Sure.
You know how much I like fun facts? Pepsi is actually a top 10 holding in the NASDAQ 100.
I knew that. The only reason I knew that is because I looked like yesterday or 2 days ago. So
that's a pretty fun fact, I thought.
Yeah. Yep.
Pretty fun fact. Do you want to hear another fun fact?
I have a fun Pepsi fact after this, but you can go.
Ready?
Yeah, I think mine's more fun.
My other fun fact about Pepsi is that it is $50 billion larger than the entire NASDAQ 100 QQQ ETF.
What?
Q's is 200 billion in assets. Pepsi's 250 billion. 50 billion, so that's 25% larger than the entire NASDAQ 100. No?
We're comparing market cap to AUM now. All right, yeah, sure, I guess.
I think that's a fun fact.
Yeah, all right.
Is that not good enough for you, or you're not entertained?
No. That was mildly interesting. I think my fact is more fun. Do you remember the Pepsi girl?
No.
From the commercial back in the day?
No.
Maybe back in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was a marketing campaign, and the star of the commercial was this little girl, and she was the Pepsi girl. She was like this cute little 6-year-old girl, whatever. Anyway, she's from my hometown. I went to high school with her. We had a chemistry class together. She's the younger sister of Jesse Eisenberg, the actor, the guy from Social Network and all that stuff. So
that is a pretty fun fact. I will give you that. That is a fun.
Yep.
Whatever happened to Crystal Pepsi? Do you remember that? Are you too young for that?
Oh man, I might be too young for that. Yeah.
You guys remember the Crystal Pepsi? It was like a clear Pepsi. No.
No.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
Whatever happened to Diet Pepsi being light, crisp, and refreshing? I don't know. Anyway, okay, back to the chart. Any thoughts on this?
Yes, I already said it. Maybe you weren't listening. I said it's still an uptrend, and if we're above 175, you can't short it.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, that's right. You did say that. And then we have the Fastenal chart, Fonz. This report, not as great. It was just an inline earnings per share and a miss on their top line revenues. So I guess not as strong demand for industrial supply stores, because that's what Fastenal is. So
industrial distribution from Winona, Minnesota. How about that? So they serve manufacturing market, equipment manufacturers, repair operations, construction.
Fastenal sells fasteners, right? Fasteners like an industrial thing. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Right. So,
I mean, man, $33 billion for in market cap for Fastenals. I mean, for fasteners.
Yeah.
I'm probably never going to buy one of those, by the way, also, Spencer. Do they sell those at the pool supply stores?
No. Why would you need a fastener for anything? You're not.
I don't know. Why would I need anything at a pool supply store?
If you're building a pool, you're going to need some chlorine.
To be clear, I personally am not building the pool. It's like a whole crew, all kinds of guys. You got some Puerto Ricans in there. You got some white dudes, a couple of Ecuadorians we got back there working on this stuff. What a nightmare. If anybody got any advice, anybody put a pool in their backyard, anybody got any advice, this is a disaster. That's why I'm here at the beach.
That's right. Okay. That was it. I mean, there's a few other earnings.
What about Domino's Pizza? I like that call there, Terrence. What's up with DPZ?
So we have a few stocks I want to get to that were moving really nicely from yesterday or this morning. Domino's is one of them. We talked about it after you left yesterday. They announced that you can now order Domino's through the Uber Eats and Postmates apps if you're into that sort of thing.
Because you had to use their app before.
Right.
Like the Domino's Pizza app?
You couldn't order Domino's through Uber Eats before. Now you can.
Yeah, right? that was just dumb. I think they finally realized that, right?
Probably. But anyway, that was the reason for the move. And we have the chart from yesterday if you want to comment on it.
I did not see the chart yesterday, but I'm pretty sure my chart is going to be better.
Well, the thing about Domino's is, for whatever reason, it's one of a small number of restaurant stocks that always seems to trade at a higher multiple. I don't really know why, but it does. And
I think it's the worse the pizza, the higher the multiple. I think that's the rule of thumb. I think that's.
I prefer Domino's over Papa John's and Pizza Hut and all that crap.
It was on the Intelligent Investor, Ben Graham. I think that's what he said. He said the worse the pizza, the higher the multiple. It's in the CFA curriculum.
Okay. All right, wait, what's this chart?
But hold on, put the chart back up there. This to me, I love a good Head and Shoulders top that is not a top, right? The best Head and Shoulders tops are not a top at all. You know what this looks like, Spencer? You know what this looks like. I think you were still in junior high school in 2010. It looks like the S&P 500 in the summer of 2010. Everybody and their brother said that this was the end of the S&P 500, head and shoulders top. It's going lower. And as we know, the exact opposite happened. Had a nice little oopsies there earlier this year. Tried to break down, couldn't. And the squeeze is on. Squeeze is on, Spencer. And the pizza is unedible. Unedible.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, Domino's, to me, Domino's Pizza is not pizza. It's Domino's. It's a separate food group entirely. It's like it's not pizza.
You're from New Jersey. New Jersey has great pizza, dude.
I know. I'm saying I wouldn't, if I was in the mood for pizza, I would never get Domino's. But if I was in the, sometimes I'm in the mood for just Domino's. It's not even like pizza. It's just Domino's. It's its own sub.
What kind of drugs are you on that you're in the mood for Domino's?
Again, I prefer Domino's over every other national pizza chain. Little Caesars, Pizza Hut, Papa John's. I hate them all. Domino's is the one that I will tolerate the most.
But you live in New Jersey. Like if you live like in Nebraska or something like that, and you got bad pizza, that's one thing. But you don't live in Nebraska.
I'm saying yes. Obviously, I would never order Domino's over like a local pizza place. Obviously,
I made a video about Domino's. Have you seen the video that we did? This was before you joined us.
I've seen the video.
It was a good video. Actually, yeah. I think I tried the Brooklyn style one, and it was not unedible.
Okay, whatever. Let's bring on today's featured guest, Ian McMillan, market analyst at Client First Tax and Wealth Advisor. He is at The Chart Life on Twitter. Also, the author of the book, What is a Stock? A great book for kids that explains stock market. And
I think some adults probably need to read that too.
Probably. Let's get him on the show right now and see what's going on. Where's my, there it is.
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
And we have a blackout.
Whoa, he just froze.
What happened, Ian?
I know. He's here, but he's froze. Oh, there he is. He's back now. Ian?
There he is.
Yeah. How's it going, guys?
Oh, maybe not. All right.
No. He's here. What's up, Ian?
Ian?
Yeah, how's it going?
It's going.
Can you hear me?
It's going very well.
Good.
Bull markets are more fun than bear markets. Are you having fun?
I am having fun. It's been a good last few months. I have to say that.
And do you think it's going to be a good next 6 months, or was that it?
I'm a day by day guy. I don't want to
stop. We all know you're
right.
not.
I think the date, like historically, the data says. This probably goes on for a while.
So S&P 5500?
What were all-time highs, like 4,800?
Something like that, right?
Yeah. So will we go to new all-time highs? Well, I mean, eventually. What's your time? You think by the end of the year?
I'm asking you. You're the professional.
I don't know if we'll get there by the end of the year. Well, of course, Qs are already there, right? No, Qs aren't there.
No, they're not there yet.
Qs, I could definitely see getting there. S&P, what would it need? Another?
Not much.
Yeah, not much.
8%? Check my math.
Yeah, I mean, you even have some time to put in some consolidations. But yeah, I think the worst of it is behind us.
Well, for those people who don't know Ian McMillan, if you don't follow Ian McMillan on Twitter, your life has gone horribly wrong. Great follow on Twitter. I encourage you to do that. Why don't you put it on the old chat there, Spencer, so that people can give him a follow. Great idea flow, always putting out good charts. I mean, your handle is The Chart Life, so if you were not putting out good charts, then you should probably change your Twitter handle. So you do a nice job of that. Why don't you talk about that's what you do for fun. Now, what do you do for work?
So for work, I am a portfolio manager along with my boss at an RIA in the suburbs of Milwaukee. We run now kind of down to 3 models. And we also launched an ETF last year.
And what's the ticker symbol for the ETF?
ADPV.
ADPV. And Can you tell me about the process of launching the ETF? Was it as torturous as I've seen before, or was it not that bad?
It's not bad. There's just a lot to do. I would say creating a strategy is maybe 25% of building an ETF product. There's a lot of legal stuff, compliance, making sure that you're in line with the SEC, and you just are constantly learning more. I mean, it's just so much red tape to step through. Even like the DOJ has their own rules on certain things, which is super bizarre. I don't know why.
And now that it's launched, it's been going all year. Are the headaches over, or do they continue?
Yeah. So from I mean, once it's launched, it's really just keeping up with compliance, which is like a quarterly. It takes like maybe a week, and we've got 4 guys on our team. So our 2 traders do most of the compliance stuff for, fact sheets and basic type of stuff.
It's not the end of the world now, like it was to launch it.
No. And, and it's a non-discretionary ETF. So we built the system, but we're not in, it tells us what trades to make. And there aren't, we're not day trading. So.
And you got 50 million in assets. That's not nothing.
Yeah. It's been a good first few months. It's been a good last 3 months performance, a good June. We kind of got caught in that, we own 2 pretty strong regional banks, actually, Huntington and FBN. They actually looked pretty good, but regional banks, there was really no escaping it. So, and we own some other small cap financials back in that, or what was that, early March, where everything just got throttled.
Yeah.
So starting to rebound now. Hopefully momentum is back, right? At least in more stocks than there had been, which has helped.
Let me ask you this, Ian. You think from an intermarket perspective, like I do, when you look at the speculator positioning in bonds, when you see historically the worst investors in the world, particularly at consensus, this aggressively short bonds, essentially the dumbest money in the world is at consensus that the 40-year bull market in bonds is over. But the stocks that do best in lower interest rate environments are doing the best. What is the stock market pricing in that perhaps maybe these speculators might be getting wrong? I don't have a bond position. I mean, I guess I own tech, so indirectly, maybe I do have a bond position, but I don't have a direct bond position. How are you thinking about this right now? Because this is what I'm staying up at night thinking about.
So bonds, we've been out of bonds for a long, just haven't touched really any of them other than these, short-term BIL, short-term treasuries. Until it gets out of this range, until something like TLT gets out of this range that it's been in the sideways range, and it had a nice bounce yesterday at the 99 level. So found support there again. And
I think we got to take out those spring highs, right?
Yeah, I think that TLT above 110. Now, do you want to wait? Right. So your risk reward entries here, do you want to wait for 10% higher on bonds to get involved?
It's a big move.
Yeah, that's a big move for bonds. So your risk reward here, I think you've even got a divergence here on, RSI, a slight, very slight. From a risk on perspective, still want to own stocks over bonds. But if you have to own bonds, right, not everyone has the risk appetite to just be in 100% equity. So if you need to add bonds from a risk reward perspective, and so you're buying TLT here at 99, and what is TLT? What are you collecting off that? 3%.
Listen, if
right?
I'm buying TLT, it ain't for the 3%. I'll tell you that much.
3%.
Ian, I like your call stocks over bonds. New all-time highs, by the way, for SPY relative to TLT. What about the dollar making new 52-week lows? Very strong negative correlation between equities and the dollar for some time now.
Yeah, and I think we saw that yesterday, right? I mean, you saw small caps have kind of had this recent move. Should be good for them. China had a big move yesterday on the breakdown of the dollar. So maybe something, you've been able to pick your spots in emerging markets this year, but you haven't been able to just buy EEM.
No.
Because China's just been so bad. So maybe they get turned around, or maybe it just stays where you're owning your Mexicos, and I don't think Argentina is an emerging. I think Argentina might be frontier market, but
what about India?
Yeah, India.
India's like Notre Dame. Like, is it an emerging market? It doesn't really trade like the other ones,
I hear that. I like that. And Europe's kind of falling apart, so we'll see what happens. Or at least from a relative basis.
Falling apart?
I mean, from a relative basis. We'll see if that turns around.
I mean, the Euro Stoxx 50 is making new 52-week highs. I wouldn't exactly call that falling apart.
But what's it doing against the S&P?
Well,
compared to what it had been doing. Like, if I look at
freaking half the S&P is technology and mega growth. Europe doesn't have that. So if tech is leading, the U.S. is going to outperform Europe. It doesn't mean Europe's bad.
I didn't say it was bad, but I got to beat a benchmark. Doesn't mean I need to own things.
You said it's falling apart. It's not falling. Making new 52.
I said on a relative basis, it doesn't look as good as it did earlier in the year.
Well, but it's a sector rotation thing.
Okay, but I'm just here to own what's outperforming, and if it's not in a relative uptrend, I'm not going to own it.
I like the discipline, Ian. I like the discipline.
There's better thing. I can go own DAP or any of the other.
Hold on, I got one for you, Ian. Speaking of relative downtrends, why don't you talk to me about the Gamecocks this year? What's the over/under on how many wins they get?
I don't think we're in excuse me, we're not in a relative downtrend.
How are you not? If Alabama is the benchmark, then you are in a severe secular.
Okay. Touche.
Bear market.
Georgia are the benchmark.
You're going to be hating on Europe making new 52-week highs. Yeah, I'm going to tell it like it is with your Cox.
I don't know. We'll see how Spencer does this year. I'm saying 8-4 again.
I think you need more Gamecock memorabilia behind you. I don't think you have enough.
I don't. You got
to step up your game there. Yeah.
Wait, I just wanted to ask Ian about a chart he shared on Twitter recently. Just speaking of risk on, Fonto, if we can pull that up. Just looking at new what was this? This is new highs versus new lows.
Yeah,
just remarkable, right? At just the number of new highs that are out there.
Yeah, continues to move
higher. I don't know if you heard.
No, I know. I'm just reiterating that point.
Ian, let me ask you this. First of all, it's a great chart. Really speaks to the type of market environment we're in. But when you talk about new highs, new lows, if you're specifically looking at 52 weeks, and the new 52-week lows list peaked a little over a year ago, because it's specifically 52 weeks, you're getting the spike now. Mm-hmm. But, how do you think through that specific number of 52 weeks versus maybe others, and kind of taking that situation sort of out of the equation when you look at market breadth? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just the fact that it's kind of nice timing that 52 weeks ago is the low. So now you're going to have those all fall off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I guess kind of right, the same with the moving average, right? There's always some there, depending on what you're looking at. If you're looking 200 days back, what was 200 day? I know Dave kind of likes to bring that in consideration. I like it. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I see it as confirming the big moves we've had. I would have, I'd be a lot more nervous if we go back to your question earlier about all-time highs, or does this continue, or where we at in 6 months? I think days like if it would make me a lot more nervous, especially coming up in this 4,500 level. And maybe we do start to see a divergence in a metric like this, but you know, year-to-date highs for this metric, and I get, you know, the time frame of where it falls. I still like it.
I like your point how it's not really a surprise. It kind of just reiterates things that we're already seeing elsewhere, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like this like earth-shattering revelation. All right, I'm gonna. I know you said you're trying to hedge yourself. I take things day by day. I want to know if you and me, forget the people who are listening, you and me hanging out at the bar, drinking beers, watching football, and I'm like, Ian, what's the best performing sector in the second half of 2023? Go.
Industrials.
Wow. What's the second best performer?
Second best performer, I will.
I love the
know.
conviction.
I could see gold if the dollar weakness continues. I could see gold doing something.
Right, but gold are sectors. So what are you saying? Materials?
Yes. So maybe materials.
Materials number 2. What's number 3?
Plus, if materials, you get some of those chemicals have like an industrial tilt to them.
Sure. Okay,
tech,
what's number 3?
Nice. I bet tech will finish in the top 3.
So tech, industrials, materials. Where does energy fall on the top 10 list?
I'm not super interested in why not, you know, things like industrials that are already making all the time. I'm not super interested in energy.
All right.
But do you see how I bring the tough questions? I'm not one of these journalists like out of like journalism school or whatever.
No, I like it. These are very good.
All right. Ian McMillan, great follow on Twitter. The handle's on the screen. Ian, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thanks, Ian. Appreciate it. Sorry for breaking your balls.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
That's how we roll around here. Come back soon.
Yes, will do.
Hopefully,
coming back on that show.
Not after you dissing his team like that. I don't know why he ever would come back. All right,
Europe's making new 52-week highs. He's telling me it's falling apart, so I'm going to hate on his football team.
All right, another day. Shocker, another good day for one Kimmy Sokoloff yesterday. Let's find out what she traded. All right, Kimmy. Yesterday you wondered would it be a gap and go or a gap and crap? Your words. You took a lot of shorts yesterday.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. You know, counter trend trade. I was like struggling finding longs, but I mean, I think we found a couple. But yes, I took the opposite. You know, JC, that RBLX that we spoke about last week in my morning note was actually, it pulled through the other day, but you weren't on yesterday. You went to the beach.
Well, you know, listen.
What's up with that?
Well, you know, there's a
You're on vacation.
We work. Listen, I have 3 kids. It's not a vacation. It's a trip, right? It's a big difference. Big difference. But we work to live. We don't live to work. Maybe I was checking quotes at the beach, seeing how the market was doing. But let me just, before we get into that, let me just tell you, Kimmy, that you are ridiculous. You are. This is out of control. The market's ripping yesterday across the board. Meanwhile, she was 6 for 7, and of those 6 profitable trades, 5 of them were shorts, which is just like, I mean, you are such a beast. Let me just reiterate this. You shorted Adobe for a profit. You shorted DraftKings for a profit. Everyone's like bragging about their gains from the long side in DraftKings. You shorted it successfully. You bought Moderna successfully for a trade. You shorted Meta successfully for a trade. You shorted UPS. You shorted Pinduoduo. Am I saying
no, I went long.
Pinduoduo.
Went long Pinduoduo, and then you shorted Alibaba. Shocking. Kimmy puts on an Alibaba trade.
And I got stopped out.
And you got stopped out.
It was funny. As I was stopping out of Alibaba, PDD, I can't even say the name of it, but
Pinduoduo.
PDD was triggering because I saw it in the morning, and then now this morning it's up at 77. I'm like, oh. So
you're out of control. You're probably complaining the whole time too.
I'm a woman, JC.
You said it. I didn't say nothing. I didn't say nothing. No, I didn't say anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
Look at Spencer.
Hold on. Can we talk about this Meta? So you're looking to put on a short this morning in Meta. Do I have that right?
Well, we'll see. Wait, where is it indicating right now? I got it. Everything changes from the morning, right, guys? So.
Oh yeah. Oh, trust me, I know.
Oh, we sold Amazon this morning for a profit. I've been in that for over a week, or is it 2 weeks? My head's a little fuzzy. Had a little issue with my dog this week, so it's been a little crazy. So, we sold Amazon for a profit. We were in it, I think, for a week or so. So nice little gap up this morning, sold into it. I sold at like 132.25. But I told everybody in the room, you want to keep it longer. Has potential 134. So it's near 134 this morning. So I lured the room.
Are you looking to enter today, generally speaking, in the market from the long side, or you're looking to fade this gap up?
I have to see the way everything trades. I might be looking to fade it also. But I'm going to watch, I hate trading AMD. Don't ask me. But it's nice little pattern here. It's been stuck under this like 115 zone. It's a little above it. I'll see how it reacts if we get a move to 117 or so. That might be setting up, but we'll see. R2 is getting toppy. I'd like for one more push higher and then maybe a counter trend trade short, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah. So
Kimmy,
I'm just
you are out of control. You are on fire. I mean, not that this is any like unique week. Like you've been on fire since we started doing this almost a year ago. So
I do believe it's almost a year. The end of September.
Kudos to you, Kimmy. You are crushing.
Thank you. I took profits quickly, so I let the room know, you want to stay in something, there's potential to here, so I give them options, right? So
tell the folks where they can find her, Spencer.
Yeah, well, it occurred to me yesterday that I had never before mentioned since we've been doing this show that Kimmy has 2 notes that go out every single day. There's a morning note and an afternoon note where she's talking about what she traded, obviously, right, in the afternoon note. And in the morning note, it's more like, here's what I'm watching today. And those are free. If you want to get those notes, email us. Email us on the screen. If you want to get into her room and get the trades as she's making them, don't, there's one thing to hear about them after the fact, right? We can talk about the trades now and why and how and all that. But if you want to get them live in the moment, the only way to do that is to be in her room, the link to which is both in the QR code on the screen and in the chat and in the description, actually, on YouTube. All those places. You have no excuse not to find it. It's everywhere. And email us to get her note. And that's it. So, Kimmy.
Thank you, guys.
Go get him, Kimmy. Go get him.
All right, have a good day. Thank you.
Good. She is out of control. She's out of control.
Yeah, she is a total beast. Okay, so it's 9:23. Let's do Hot Corner quickly.
Are we bringing in the boys?
We are in a couple of minutes.
Should we show the folks the trailer? Or we played it too many times?
No, we played a lot. Let's do Hot Corner first, and unlike yesterday, which was a total shutout, we actually have something in the Hot Corner today. Who would have thunk it?
Hot Corner. So hot right now.
All right, let's get that up on the screen. And
Diamond Offshore, man.
Diamond Offshore Drilling. This is a 13G, so passive stake from a firm I've never heard of before. Slight raise of their stake. Not a crazy raise, but a slight increase. And
I'm telling you right now, guys, I'm on the small cap bandwagon. For those of you who've been following the show, know very aggressively long small caps in the back half of this year. Ian McMillan wasn't that interested in energy. I have been. So when you combine energy stocks and small caps, you get small cap energy. Boom. Diamond Offshore, classic example. And who are these people? Who are these people? This is the
I don't know.
KGH Limited. KGH Limited.
Yeah.
I don't know that. Don't matter.
I don't know.
Also, unusual options activity in Freeport McMoran, which is interesting. The unusual options activity in metals in general. which is interesting. And I liked Ian's point. Maybe I disagreed on the energy. He doesn't love the energy. I actually do like it. But on the material side, especially with a weaker dollar, Ian made an excellent point there. And then also, we're seeing relative strength in Freeport-McMoRan relative to copper itself, in the same way that we're seeing relative strength in the energy stocks relative to crude oil itself. So there's like this theme in the commodity space that the stocks of those commodities are doing better than the commodities themselves. Freeport is a good example of that. Diamond Offshore is another one for that matter.
Yep. Guys, if you want the hot corner, it goes out every single day. It's a totally free note tracking all the biggest trades from Washington to Wall Street to the boardrooms, congressional insiders, all that good stuff. Email us. Okay, I'll put the email up on the screen one more time. It's questions@stockmarketmedia.com. Email us. Just put hot corner in the name or the subject so we know what they're talking about. We'll get you on the list for the hot corner. It goes out every single day. Even yesterday when there was literally nothing to report, we sent it out just to say hi.
But that was the first time ever that we've actually started writing this report. By the way, it's one of my personal favorites because, and some people are like, "Oh, JC, who cares what Warren Buffett's doing? He has different objectives than you."
Please,
yeah.
Everyone cares what Warren Buffett's doing.
Well, fine, but like whatever. Kathy Wood, name the fund. It doesn't matter. Carl Icahn, Nelson Peltz. It doesn't matter. The point is, it brings our attention to the table. If the CEO of XYZ is spending $10 million buying his stock, I just want to take a look. It doesn't mean I'm going to flip the book long the stock. I might not even buy it. I might even short it, right? The point is that I just want to take a closer look. That's it.
Yep. Okay, real quickly before the guys come on, let's talk about Beyond Meat here. This thing caught a very nice bid after hour. Or no, it was before the close. It was like at 3:00 yesterday. They announced that you can now buy Beyond Meat steaks in 14,000 grocery stores nationwide. This stock to me is like the epitome of like high growth. One of the epitomes of high growth. Total, piece of junk for the last 2 years now at this point. But like everything else, it's going up in the last couple months, so that's something, I suppose.
Well, this is part of the short squeeze that we've seen all year. This was one of the stocks with some of the highest short interest coming into the year. Yeah. Still 40% short. So, getting back to the old lie, how people lie to you. They're like, oh, buy companies with good fundamentals. No, it has nothing to do with good fundamentals. In fact, depending on the environment, you probably want to be buying companies with bad fundamentals, actually. So anybody who tells you buy companies with good fundamentals is lying to you, or they are incredibly mistaken. This is just a great example of positioning, the bad positioning. And by the way, this Beyond Meat, they're killing people. They're literally giving you poison instead of animal protein.
It's not poison.
Yes, it is poison. They're putting poison in things.
It's not poison. It's just extremely. It's just really, really salty is what it is. But
it's poisonous. They're killing people. And I'm all for it. If the stock is going up, people want to eat this crap, knock yourself out. Just another classic example of very, very high short interest going into the year and the mispositioning by investors. I mean, there's a whole slew of these types of stocks. This one's
there's one less. RIP to Tattooed Chef, TTCF. They filed for bankruptcy. That was also a SPAC. But same idea as Beyond.
Hates SPACs.
Oh, I do. And then I wanted to, before we bring on Strazza, it's going to be a bad day for Viasat, VSAT. They announced, this is a satellite company, and they announced that one of their satellites had some sort of problem. They didn't actually elaborate, or at least if they did, I didn't see it, but they said an unexpected event occurred during the reflector deployment that may materially impact the performance of the satellite. This thing is already down 29% this morning.
Down 30%.
Yeah, it's going to be a bad day for this one, so I just wanted to put that on your radar.
Well, this is a $5 billion technology equipment stock from Carlsbad, California.
Yep. All right, we got Strazza here coming to us live from, I should know the city he's in. Bangkok, right? Yes, Bangkok. Let's get him on the show and talk with Strazza. See how he's doing over there in Asia. Wait, I just lost his camera. Oh, it's back. Strazza, you with us?
Hey guys,
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
I'm in Bangkok. Good job, Spencer. I know. I'm confused too. It's not uncommon for us to look at each other and be like, "Yeah, we're going to where are we going again?" Or we're forgetting where we are, where we're going. Where
Strazza
we
doesn't
came
want to
from.
leave Asia. You want to stay?
Who said that?
I got some text messages this morning from Strazza. Be like, I'm thinking about extending the trip for a week, maybe.
So here's the deal with that. I knew going in, I told you that, JC, that I thought Vietnam would be my favorite place, right? I've been saying that for weeks now. We got there. It was definitely my favorite place. It was everybody's favorite place so far. And really, you got to spend more time there. Like, I didn't get to go to the War Museum with them because we had one day. I kind of did my thing. They did their thing.
What'd you do instead of going to the War Museum? Why don't you tell the folks what you did instead?
We drove down towards the coast and through like the country a little bit. It was like suburban Vietnam. And we went to this like golf palace. And we played 10 holes. And then we had to leave and get back to the CMT event as quickly as we could. And I walked in like 15 minutes late with a set of golf clubs and some new Japanese golf gear because I sweated through the entire outfit I was wearing on the course. And then we had a great event. Rocked it. But golf was like otherworldly. It's a different thing here. It's a whole different experience than what we're used to in the United States. Like, well, it's kind of like ruined for me forever now because it's just never going to be this good. So they walk you in, they take your bags, they like usher you in to this like beautiful, beautiful place. You go to a buffet, like crush some sushi, enjoy yourself, hang out for a little bit with like amazing views of the golf course, all like glass windows. I sent you the video, I think. And then like afterwards, I'm like, I need to rent clubs. Like, where do I get my clubs? Like, I got to rent, they're like, just go to the starter. Like these girls pick you up on a golf cart. They have like golf girls who know the course and like read the greens for you. Like absolute experts tell you where to go. It's just incredible. The whole experience. Then you get out and you're done and you go to the locker room. There's like a sauna, a steam room, everything you could ever imagine. I could have just, stayed there for 3
This
weeks.
is not leaving. And was it expensive? How much did it cost?
$200 American for two of us.
Wow.
Wow.
And that's the other thing, right? The reason I really enjoyed myself so much is because we were doing all of the best things. I mean, the purchasing power of the US dollar in Vietnam is absolutely unreal. And it's not that that's not the case in places like Thailand. It's actually not really the case in Singapore, but some of these other Asian countries, yeah, that's also the case. But
It's not
let me
going to
give
be
you some
the case in
perspective.
Tokyo, I'll tell you that much.
Well, listen, let me just tell you how extreme it is. The cabs we were taking around the city, $1 to $2. If you want like a full, like awesome, proper massage, $10, $15. I got one this morning. I upgraded my room to a suite because, the room was a little shabby. Like upgrading to a suite was like $30. We had like, a nice steak dinner for everybody. It was like $200 for Wagyu for the whole table. So like you could just do amazing things there. And yeah, I could have stayed a lot longer, I guess.
Hold on. So it sounds like you guys are having a lot of fun. You're eating a lot of food, playing golf. Must be nice. Getting any work done? Learning anything about the markets over there?
So last week in both my options stock portfolio,
We're losing them.
that I've had in probably like a year or two.
All right. Well,
All right.
things
Well, the
must be
internet.
awesome in Vietnam, but the
Bangkok.
internet sucks.
Wait here. Let's try this trick. When in
So
doubt,
far. So
turn it off and turn it
Marcus
back on.
kinda doing his-
So let's see if doing that.
No, you
Steve-O.
No, he's done.
the internet's a little tough here. Yeah, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Oh, we
it's
got.
all right.
I got you. I think I got you back though. I think that worked. No, it didn't. I lied.
No.
I spoke
All
too
right.
soon.
Well,
Bummer.
listen,
The
for
internet's
those of you who
spotty
don't
here. I was
know-
worried about that.
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
Strazza, go back to whatever your massages and your golf. So
two
these
things.
guys are doing. These people
Yeah.
are wondering why are these guys in Asia playing golf and getting Riley was getting a pedicure yesterday. It was ridiculous. So these guys are out in Asia, 8 different countries, interviewing some of the best traders in the world in each of these individual countries. They were at Jim Rogers' house in Singapore last week, and they were at the Bursa Malaysia exchange a couple days ago. Then they were in Vietnam. Now they're in Bangkok. I think they're going to Manila next, and then Taipei, Hong Kong, and finishing up in Tokyo. Strazza's texting me this morning, like, dude, I'm thinking about, he's like, why did you send me here? I don't want to go home. He's like, if I didn't have family or friends, I would move to Vietnam. That's exactly what he said, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like they're having the time of their life. So 2 things. One, the documentary that we're producing here is called Wall Street to All Streets. And if you want to get, it's going to be episodic. It's not going to be like one long thing. We're going to do episodes, right? If you want to get alerted to when the episodes are actually released, scan the code on the screen. That code will also get you access to watch parties we're going to host with Strazza and Sean and Giancarlo and Riley, the guys who are over there right now. And we're going to have like these hangouts in the evening. We're going to talk about the experience more. We're going to share some behind the scenes footage. It's going to be freaking awesome. So that's the code. It's on the screen and in the chat and in the description. That's the first thing. The second thing is this entire trip would not have been remotely possible without the sponsor, the flagship sponsor of this trip. Centerpoint Securities has been kind enough to help us out. They are a broker for professional traders, for advanced traders. If that's you, there's a code on the screen. Scan it. Free, no commissions for, 60 days? Is that what I said?
60 days.
Yeah, 60 days, no commissions. Check it out. It's a super powerful tool. The guys have been using it over there. JC uses it. It's for, like I said, advanced traders. If that's you,
I'm gonna change that. It's not for advanced traders, right? It's for any trader, but with an account at Centerpoint, you get a professional system, right?
Sure.
So whether you're a beginner or an advanced trader, you have the DAWS system that institutional traders at the biggest firms you've ever heard of, what they're using, you get access to that, whether it's your first day trading or you've been doing this for 50 years. So Centerpoint Securities, shout out Centerpoint. Thanks for sending the fellas out there. I use this broker every single day. I just love the DAWs. I mean, you're getting all the level 2s. It's really awesome. So for me, I'm not like, I don't necessarily need anything sophisticated. Like my strategies are very simple. Like, it's not that big of a deal, but you could really, all the hotkeys, like I don't use hotkeys, but you can set those up, for example. Really, really, really awesome. Highly recommend. And I don't make recommendations about brokers around here. And granted, they sponsored to take the fellas out there, but whether they did or whether they didn't. First of all, I've been using Centerpoint well before they sponsored anything to Asia. So I've been using this for a while. It's pretty awesome. And the customer service, by the way, very impressive.
I think that's the other thing they're known for. It's not they're known for their order routing, which is like we said, a pretty advanced tool, and they're known for their support. So I think those are the 2 things that they sort of hang their head on. So anyway, Centerpoint Securities, scan the code on the screen, no commission, 60 days.
And the leverage, 4-to-1 intraday.
Oh, don't tempt me with a good time. All right. Let's go over quickly the chart report, and then I got some other stuff, and then we got some questions in the chat, and we got some recess. So where's my chart report? Little bumper intro thingamajigger. Is it here? Yes. Chart of the day, courtesy of our friends at Bar Chart on the US dollar. That's now a 15-month low for the US dollar. Man, when were those magazine covers? Was that September?
It was the beginning of October. The dollar had already peaked.
October? The dollar had just peaked. Yeah. Well, times they are changing, or they have changed, I should say. So, can never keep this too far from your mind because the dollar does impact pretty much everything, right? So, there was that chart. What else jumped out to us here? I
like the Dan Russo chart.
Yeah, I had a
Love the
feeling.
Dan Russo chart because this is where my head is at. So I'm being a little selfish here. JC made the cut. Look at that. JC made the top 10.
Yes, I scored right past it. There you go.
JC making the top 10. We talked about it, the dollar enough here. Go to the bond chart there from Russo.
Yeah.
Dan Russo. By the way, why haven't we had Russo on the show? Get Russo on the
He's
show.
coming. He's gonna come on in August.
Okay. So interesting with consensus at lower treasury prices, and like I said before, historically the worst investors on the planet, the large speculators, are betting the most aggressively ever that interest rates are going up and bond prices are going down. Russo here is noting that the 10-year just put in a fourth higher low. I mean, he's reaching a little there, Russo, but whether it's a fourth higher low or just holding support, nevertheless, with sentiment so skewed bearish bonds, man, I'm really looking at this bond trade.
All right. Yeah. You've made that clear today, if anything, that you're interested in bonds.
It's a very interesting. I mean, I was walking to dinner the other night with my mother-in-law, and I was telling her about the speculator position in the bond market. This is.
I'm sure it was a riveting conversation. Anyway, guys, if you want the chart report, it's totally free. Goes out every single day. Patrick Donahuela puts that out. There is the code on the screen. Scan that. You'll get added to the list. You can sign up to the list there. And it's just for those of you that can't spend all day on Twitter looking at FinTwit, he does the work for you, the compilation for you. And it's a really easy read. It takes 2 minutes to read every single day. And there's a lot of good nuggets in there. So check it out. Chart report, code on the screen, and in the description of the YouTube video. Okay. 9:42. There was a question in the chat about any opinions on Bumble or Crocs. I haven't looked at the Crocs
Bumble,
chart.
the dating app?
Yeah. The Crocs chart. Let's start there, though. Did that ever stop? Yeah. Okay. It did stop.
Hold on. Before you were married, you were using dating apps. Did you ever use Bumble?
As in, like, did I have an account? Yes, but I had an account on like all the dating apps.
Is this the one where like you date groups of people, like a group of guys goes out with a group of girls? Is that what the Bumble is?
No, that's long dead. I actually did that once, like 10 years ago. But no, Bumble is the one where she has to message first. That was like the hook, right? Of Bumble. But yeah, they are public. I think they were also a SPAC. Maybe not. I could be wrong.
I never used a dating app. Because like
I know, it's.
I was dating before dating apps existed.
Yeah,
I guess Match.com. I guess Match.com existed, but I guess I don't know.
No,
I'm old school. We go to bars and meet people the old-fashioned way, right?
Wait, can we pull if we can we get the Crocs chart up? CROX. This thing was, I think, like the best performing stock for a period of time in 2021. It just wouldn't stop going up like every single day. It obviously came crashing back down, but it's like, I don't know. It's kind of hanging out here. 127, the all-time high, 183. Well, the low, it went from 183 in November of 21 to 46 8 months later. And now it's back at 127. So
if we're above 121, you can't be short Crocs. I think it's got a date with 200.
All right. Yeah. Well, that would be an all-time high by a lot. So
yeah, I think it goes retest those former highs at the very least. Maybe even takes it out, which is unbelievable. The kids across the street from my house are always wearing them. My daughter's now starting to wear them.
Well, so here's the thing about Crocs is I was gifted a pair of Croc slippers like for like the winter, like they're very warm. I was gifted them probably like 15 years ago, and they're in great shape still. And I've never purchased a pair. I wear them all the time in the winter, but I've never bought a pair of Crocs because they're just so damn durable. So I just don't know how.
I've never owned a pair of Crocs. No one's ever given them to me. I've never bought any. You think I should do a little due diligence? Maybe get myself a pair of Crocs?
The Crocs, no, but the Croc slippers, like for the winter time, if you have to go outside and get the mail or whatever, and whatever, get the paper. Who gets the paper anymore? But if you do,
I get the paper on Saturday mornings. I get the Wall Street Journal.
All right. Well, on Saturdays in February,
sending it to me now on Saturdays.
On Saturdays in February, you got to go out there, get the paper, put on your Crocs slippers. They are very comfortable. They're very warm.
Get the papers. Get the papers.
Extremely. Get the papers. Get the papers. Get the papers. Oh, you just watched that movie not too long ago. Okay. What else did I have on my list here? There was a couple of ratings. Somebody in the chat mentioned Carvana. They called a downgrade this morning from.
Can we throw the Zoom chart? There's slide 1. I think that's an interesting one.
Yeah. Okay, fine. We'll do Zoom.
Why do you like so?
No, I was gonna rip through a couple of ratings just real fast, but
is this not good enough for you, Spencer?
What's interesting about Zoom here?
Well, what were we just saying about the Kava, about the initial public offering price? In this case, we're looking at the low on the IPO, came into play again, retested. Right before COVID, ripped with COVID, obviously, as we all know. And now we're back down to the scene of the crime. This was the IPO low. So just another great example of what I was talking about with Kava, how those prices come into play. Here we are again. How many, 3 years later or whatever, 4 years later? So this is the support. So if we're above the IPO low in Zoom, if you want to be long, knock yourself out. I mean, I'm not, but I would be. Is this still a big holding in ARK?
Yes, it is. It's a huge holding. Yeah.
4th largest holding in ARK, which is interesting. If this thing gets going, I mean, you could see 60, 70%, and the risk is very well defined, because if we're not above those former lows, you can't own it, right? So the risk is very, very well defined. We start taking out 72. I like it even more. I think this thing could see 125.
Zoom is actually, if you combine all the ARK funds together, Zoom is the 6th largest holding in the ARK family. So there's that. They own it in two different funds. Okay. Anyway, just real fast. So Carvana caught a downgrade this morning from JP Morgan. Coinbase caught a downgrade from Barclays. That's why it was down last I checked. SoFi caught a downgrade. These are all downgrades to sell, by the way, or underweight. SoFi also downgraded. That was at Morgan Stanley. That's it as far as ratings here. So some analysts with some influence pouring some cold water on some recent high flyers this morning.
Riot Platforms up over 4%. Marathon up 4% on the day. If you want to throw up that chart one more time, we talked about it at the start of the show in the old state of the markets. But if you want to show that Bitcoin and Mara chart, I mean, what impresses me is that Mara, Riot, these things are moving without Bitcoin breaking out. Show the Bitcoin chart on itself, by itself, so you can see these things have been ripping. And I'm talking my book, obviously. I don't know who else's book to talk about. Not this one. Show my Bitcoin chart, the one with the bull flag, potential bull flag. We haven't gotten any breakout at all, and these things are moving. So, yes, I'm long, so I'm not upset about it. But if I wasn't, I'd be really looking to put, risk on the table here. So, what is Bitcoin going to do? How is it going to resolve this consolidation? I mean, there's little to no evidence that it's going to resolve lower. All of these sort of ancillary trades, all of brothers and sisters and cousins of Bitcoin are moving higher in the equities market. I am talking my book. I'm betting that we're going to break out. I guess we'll see.
I had a thing I wanted to hit on briefly with regarding the banks. So the banks, the big banks report tomorrow. So not all of them, but some of them report tomorrow. And there was an article yesterday in Bloomberg about how Goldman Sachs doesn't report. I think they report on like Monday or Tuesday, but how they've gone out of their way to lower the bar and to downplay expectations. They're saying it's not going to be a good quarter, and they've had 2 negative reports in a row. So there was some chatter about that yesterday, so I just wanted to put that on people's radar for Goldman Sachs. I believe they report on Tuesday. Let me confirm that. I don't want to give any bad information here, so just put that on your radar. They are, they're Wednesday. Sorry, they're Wednesday morning. So I didn't realize they were so far away. But anyway, just put if you are trading the banks, obviously know your earnings date, but why talk for this Goldman report?
Pull up the HSBC. That's the one we're long.
Yeah.
It's over there on slide 1. Making new 52-week highs, Spencer. I was promised a recession, maybe even a banking crisis if we're lucky. And I see HSBC making new 52-week highs.
Yep.
We're long.
Yep. Here, there's a couple of charts from the chat. Someone had asked us the other day about SAI. I think yesterday they'd asked about SAIA. I think we actually have that chart from yesterday. Check.
Yeah, 365 is a big one. Those are the former highs from late in 21. If we take that out, I mean, this thing could run up towards 500. Can't be long if we're below those 21 highs, right? That's overhead supply. We got to be above that.
I was just looking at a scanner, right? I like to look at what's moving off the open. Hive blockchain. This is a crazy one. So Hive blockchain is a crypto miner, right?
Indeed.
They announced yesterday that they are pivoting their business. They are not going to be a crypto miner anymore. They're changing the name from Hive blockchain to Hive digital, and they're going to do like AI stuff. I don't really know what, honestly. I didn't quite understand it, or they didn't quite explain it really in the press release. But they're pivoting from crypto mining to being like a developer of, like, they're going to use their like NVIDIA chips and that they already have to do stuff with AI. So anyway, the stock was halted. It was halted all day yesterday, and it just resumed this morning, and it just spiked up to $6.50. From $5.50.
Based out of Vancouver, Canada, Spencer.
Yeah. We can actually get, if you're interested, and I don't know if you are, but we can get the exec chairman on this show. He is the same guy that runs the Jets ETF. Frank Holmes is his name. But anyway,
how can we get him? Is he your bestie?
He's not my bestie, but I have his info. We've spoken before. Anyway, the point is 24-hour trading halt for this thing. Just came out of the halt just now, and it spiked up. So I was wondering when that was going to resume. So sometimes when you're in a halt, it can be nerve-wracking because you don't know when it's going to be or come out of the halt. So that was interesting. So that's out of the halt now. Okay. You want to do some recess?
No. I want to.
Okay.
Kathy Wood, speaking of which, Kathy Wood just, here, hold on one second. Kathy Wood just bought some CCJ uranium.
Uranium, yeah.
So let me just throw this up there. It's up on slide 1 there, Fonz, if you want to throw that up. Kathy Wood buying uranium, very interesting there. I don't have a position, but maybe I should. Really interesting. Anybody know how much she bought? Anybody
I can tell you.
Either way, if we're above 32.5, I like CCJ from the long side. Currently, it is trading at 32, so slightly below that. But if we start taking out 32.5,
she didn't just buy a CCJ.
I think she did.
Oh, yesterday. Okay, hold on. You know what? In that case, I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, it may have been yesterday, but I heard some rumblings. I hear things, Spencer. I hear things. Nevertheless, listen, at the end of the day, whether she bought it or not, it doesn't matter. If we were above 32.5, I think you can own it. I think you got 60% upside here, Spencer. Is that good enough for you?
That's a lot of upside.
I think so. If you are interested, if you don't have enough Canadian uranium exposure,
I got 0. Well, I shouldn't say that.
This one coming from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, home of my favorite Canadian football team, the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
I actually knew a guy from Saskatoon a long time ago.
People live there.
Yes.
Isn't it like the northernmost city in like on Earth or something?
Yes, it's the northernmost city on Earth. That's right.
Is it? Is this true?
No.
No? Are you sure?
No. Yes, I'm sure. Let's look at a map, man. It is not.
I think it might be. Anyway,
No,
shout out to the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
yeah. Shout out to the
Who's
CFL.
your favorite college football team? Canadian football team.
My favorite CFL team?
Yeah.
They don't exist anymore. The Baltimore Stallions.
Ooh.
That's a deep. That's a deep.
BC Lions. The BC
It's
Lions.
a deep cut. Yes, you're thinking Baltimore, Maryland. Yes, Baltimore, Maryland. There used to be CFL teams in America for a couple of years back in the mid '90s. So that would be my team, but they're long dead. They've been dead for 20 years.
Toronto Argonauts. Hell yeah! Now we're talking NASDAQ Poppy. Now we're talking.
All right, let's do some recess. We're already veering to that course anyway. So where's my little recess thing? I actually have someone today to share. I think you'll be interested. All right, JC, it's been a great year for many assets. It's been a great year for stocks. It's been a good year for crypto. You know what it has not been a good year for?
Pod stocks.
No, I'm moving away from stocks. But that's correct. But that's not what the answer is going for. Not been a great year for wine as an investment. This is from a company called Cult Wines. They have their own proprietary indexes. Bordeaux, Burgundy, Champagne. Look at the year-to-date performance in these wine indexes, JC. Not great. So I have no idea what's in these things. I just know that they're down year-to-date. So if you invest in wine for an investment, I don't know, maybe try drinking it.
It's a stock picker's market in the wine world these days. You can't just blindly buy the index. You know, the way I learned it is if you trade the averages, you're going to get average returns, and it works that way in the old wine world as well. I got a little wine situation. I have an ethical, moral dilemma in wine, and I want your opinion. You ready for this?
Oh yeah.
So yesterday I'm out to dinner with my family. I asked for the wine list, right? Checking it out. Pretty good wine list, actually. And I find a 2018 Pomerol, which is some of the best Merlot on the planet. And it was like $110 or something like that for a 5-year-old Pomerol. They also had a 10-year-old Pomerol that was $600, right? 2013 Pomerol for $600. I'm like, I don't need to do that. I'm here with my family. I got 3 kids. Like, what am I doing? I don't need to spend $600 on a bottle of wine. I'll take the 18. It'll cost me $120. You know what they brought me? They brought me the 2013. So I paid $110, $112, something like that, for a $600 bottle of wine. I kept my mouth shut. I didn't see nothing, right? Did I do anything wrong there for keeping my mouth shut? Is to kind of just shut up and drink it and take the gift, right? So that's number one. It gets worse, though. It gets worse.
Oh, boy.
So we put the kids to bed. And my wife's like, hey, run to the barn, grab a couple of beers, and we'll sit on the balcony and have a drink. I'm like, all right. I had already cashed the first bottle. I'm like, what if I order that bottle again? I wonder what they're going to bring me.
Oh, no.
I did it again, and they brought me another 2013.
Oh,
so
my God. All right, that
$1,200 worth of wine that I got for $200. Should I go out? Like, did I do anything wrong? What did I?
I'm going to say the first time, it would have been the nice thing to do, but you didn't do anything wrong the first time. Okay, it really it's their fault for getting the wrong bottle. But the second time, that is a little bit less forgivable. I think you knew what you were doing.
I'm spending like $1,300 a night at this hotel, for the record. So it's not like I'm.
You knew what you were doing. The first time, I mean, look, it's their responsibility.
What do you guys think in the chat? Am I in the wrong here? I do kind of feel guilty.
About which one? The first or the second one, or both?
I feel more guilty about the second one, but man, the wine was good though. It was really good, and I just ordered it. Like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I would say if you should feel guilty, it's definitely over round 2. Round 1, look, it's a mistake. Maybe you didn't notice right away. Maybe you did. Yeah, right. Whatever. But like,
They bring the bottle. They're like, "Oh, is this it?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's the one."
yeah. Dude, the second time. Oh, come on now. Oh man, look. I mean, again, at the end of the day, it is their fault for giving you the wrong bottle of wine. I wouldn't have gone back. I probably would have taken the first one, but I definitely wouldn't have gone back for round 2.
I should feel guilty.
Yeah, James would have gone for a third round.
Hey, there's still tonight, by the way.
All right. Yeah, that's an interesting question. Oh man. Always an adventure with you. Always an adventure. All right. Guys, it is 10 o'clock, which means it is time for us to wrap it up for the day. Stay tuned to the channel. Chart Request Live, 1 o'clock Eastern Time every single Tuesday and Thursday. Well, today is Thursday. So if you have any requests for us, email us and cut the line questions at stockmarketmedia.com. And we'll do our best to get to them. That'll be at 1 o'clock Eastern Time today. Until then, everyone have a great rest of your day. JC, enjoy the beach. Go make some money. Smash the like on YouTube. We're at 33 likes. Let's get to 50 likes in the next 5 seconds.
I left a great tip, Spencer. I left a great tip, though.
Okay. That's all that matters. See you later, everyone.
Adios.
Run it. I can't take no loss.